Well, hello everybody. Hi, Bib. Thank you so much for the 6 freaking months in advance. And VP, thanks for throwing dollars at me. Hype train in the first 4 minutes of stream. Thanks, guys. Hi, everyone. How we doing? It does. I did change some stuff, but it looks like I'm still getting the encoding overloads. I need to mess with that more tomorrow. Put that on my ever-grind to-do list. Well, yeah. I mean, we still have to live in it, so we might as well give money to the people that we like, right? Hi, Oren. Good to see you. How are y'all doing today? Okay, so I will also warn you right now that the neighbors are being loud. And I'm guessing that that's going to pick up a little bit more. And on the new mic, I mean. So if you guys hear that, I apologize. I don't have any control over the sound outside. Otherwise, it would be a lot quieter in general. But they were revving a car out there very loudly while I was starting up. So I need to dig through this and pull out the color for this month. Yeah. How's everyone doing? What's up? What you been doing? I honestly have not been doing much of interest. I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing. Although I didn't play yesterday. I played Stardew with Cap instead. Which, like, good life choice there, honestly. Oh, thank you so much, Aaron. That's so sweet. Thanks, guys. I have too many greens. I can't find anything. BP! Yeah, you got a little distracted by throwing dollars. I love that my voice cracked really intensely there. Oh, and thank you for gifting BP. That's very sweet of you. Thanks, guys. There it is. I was like, I know it's in here somewhere. But I have so many different greens. They make so many different greens, you guys. Is anything really important? I don't think so. We have a new color of the month, which is Rich Green Gold, or as I like to call it, Goose Poop Yellow. Oh, yeah, that's right. September. Thank you. You're so sweet. Oh, you got some good folks in there, too. That's awesome. It is September. I totally forgot. Thank you, Bwib. That's very sweet. You guys are so nice to me. Thank you. And I do, so like, I was very careful when I was picking my alert sounds to pick things that wouldn't drive me freaking nuts if a bunch of them played in a row. And I'm so pleased with this sound. I recorded this sound myself, and it's my paintbrushes and the mug that I use to hold them all. Oh, that's all good, BP, and you don't need to apologize for that. Get rest if you need it. For shoresies. Get your eeps in. Me trying to be organized, but there's no such thing, really. I've got stuff everywhere. These can go in there. This can go here. I've been using, so my tea company that I like does different blends, and they put them in like nice little tins like this. And they're so good for storing stuff after you eat all the tea. Yeah, you got a lot of good ones in there, Wib. Yeah, I think the way they've done it the past couple years is that it's discounted for like the first 3 weeks, and then the like last week or the last 2 weeks they do random extras. Or maybe it's just like sometimes you get the extras and not always. They've done it that way before too, especially with like the bit events that they've done. But also they're never like particularly clear. I just pinched my finger in that. Owie. I think this is a new record for Hype Train here too, so good work, guys. Let's see. I also need to clean my palette a bit here, so let's do that. I only have the pencil sketch down for this guy. We're gonna ink that, and then we need to let the ink dry in between. So I was thinking I might do the Lego kit that Stars got me, or we can work on some swatches for my little snowflakes and roses. I haven't fully decided yet. It is late for Stars, so she'll be in bed. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to wait until Stars is here to do the Lego. I think that she would tell me to not worry about it. But I will worry about it because I'm like that as a person, you know? Hi, Allie. Welcome in. And thanks for saying thanks. That's sweet. I know when I get gift subs, I often will pop into streams and be like, oh yeah, thank you. But not everybody does that. Although I have my settings so that I can only get gift subs to people that I already follow, which does make it a little bit different, I think. Which is a good setting that they added, honestly. Because there was one time where I got a gift sub, like before I had changed the setting, where I got a gift sub to somebody that I absolutely despised. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, I did try to change some of the settings, but it looks like I'm still getting the encoding issue because my laptop sucks ass. And I can't change the setting that I think I need to change more while I am live. So. Hey, Diabra, welcome in. So we might just have to stick with shitty quality for today, and then I can mess with it some more after stream. Which is the great thing about OBS having shit itself so intensely that I had to completely reinstall it 3 times before it actually let me open the program again. And I do think that it gets worse when there's like a lot of alerts and stuff like that, just because it's more to render, you know. Thanks so much for the hype train, guys. Ooh, we get an emote. Get an emote. I used to like be super specific about getting all of the hype train emotes, but they kind of suck now, if you ask me. Oh, that one's pretty funny. Oh, that one's super cute, Armin. I will probably end up using that one, honestly. A bunch of them are also animated, and I can tell whoever uploaded them to Twitch like just didn't remember that one of the options is to have animation turned off for the emotes. And you can set a specific frame of an animated emote so that it's like clear to people who have the animations turned off what it is. And I can tell that whoever uploaded them to Twitch forgot about that, because there are at least 3 that are just a blank square if you have animations turned off like I do. Because there are a lot of emotes that hurt my little eyeballs. Okay. I've got green gold, but I think I want to scrape some of these other colors off of here because I'm not really using them right now. Love that I use palette knives in like not a real painter way and just in a like, oh, I need to clean this up way. Because I think permanent violet and then tiger can go away for now. And then I can put green gold in its place. Hi, Tiny. I do really like the permanent violet color, though. I guess that's the other thing to say. So, speaking of permanent violet, back when that was our color of the month, we did this eggplant painting together. Well, part of it together, and I did part of it off stream, I think. But that is the sticker for my sticker club this month. It's the eggplant. We also have the eggplant as an emote. So all of you who just got gifted subbies can use the eggplant emote wherever you would like. So if you're interested in that sticker, it's going to be an exclusive to my patrons. The promise is always for at least a month. But I haven't added any of the stickers that I've done for the sticker club to my shop so far this year. There's one that I think I'm going to add in the next bit, like whenever I can get my shit together, basically. I've got a lot of stuff to do and not much time. But I do think I'm going to add the potion one from May as a sticker when I add the boba one that we just finished. And I think actually I'll probably add June's too, which is yes, and a pickle. Those are both paintings that I did. And I'll probably add this pride one that I did for June too. Thank you. Yeah, we got to keep our eggplant moist. You know, just how it is. I really should clean this palette entirely and like change what colors I have in this, because there are some colors that I definitely need to replace. Because there are some that I use a lot and some that I really don't use like at all. There you go. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, the drops are pickle juice. I mean, when I first uploaded the eggplant emote to test it, I put it in Sleepy's chat with the pickle, but they were facing each other and just said frauding. So they're gay and they're boyfriends, just in case anybody was wondering. You know. Normal headcanons. We can make up lore for our emotes. It's my stream. I gotta do what I want. I do also need to clean the white on here, because it's got a lot of blue in it right now. Yeah, you can actually do that. So part of the reason I get ceramic ones is they clean up easier. But you can also, like, after you get the big chunks off, you can just run it through a dishwasher if you want to. I usually just leave it in, like, the sink with the water running for a bit, because that'll help clean it off. I 100% agree. Our dishwasher broke for a while last year, and for Christmas I asked for a new dishwasher from our dad, because I was over it. Like, we do have some like hand wash only dishes, but like whatever. Hi Dissy, thanks for the sub. And yes, we have a banana slug. I've got 4 different bugs planned for this month. Because I really want to get my collectible bug stickers done so that I can, well, get the art for them done so that I can start actually getting everything prepped and packaged and printed and all that jazz. But we've got, this is our color of the month, which is just like such a good bug color. So there's 4 different ones, and you guys can know all of them right now if you want. So obviously banana slug is one, which is one of my faves, and one that was around a lot where I grew up, because I grew up in Oregon. So in both Northern California, where my grandma lives, and in Oregon, these are pretty common. And if you lick them, they make your tongue go numb, which I have, in fact, licked multiple banana slugs in my life. And then we're also going to do a cicada molting its shell, and like the one coming out of the shell is going to be blushing. We're going to do a stick bug for Get Stick Bugged as one of the rare stickers. And then we're also going to do a bagworm, the kind that make the little stacks of like logs and stuff on their back to make their cocoon out of. We're going to turn that into like a Baba Yaga house, except bug instead of chicken legs. So that's the plan for this month. Yeah, I do already have a spider in the set. And I also have like an alternative to that spider. So my plan is for people with arachnophobia, I'm going to have basically two full sets. But you can choose if you get the sticker or if you get the replacement. So if you don't want to see spiders, you can avoid it entirely. But it's a peacock jumping spider is the spider that I already have in. And he was one of the first ones that we did. And do I know where he is? This is the next question. Because I can show you guys what bugs we have so far, I think. Yeah, here he is. So if you guys don't like spiders, I'm about to show a spider. But he's fuzzy and cute. So he's not that scary, I promise. But you are going to see a spider in a second here. Okay? So we've got the peacock jumping spider as one. And then the alternate is the peacock fly. So, like, they've got the same vibe and stuff. So you aren't really, like, missing out on a specific vibe for the sticker. But you can avoid spiders if you don't like looking at spiders. Where are my other bugs? There's some other bugs. There's another bug. Is that all of them? I don't have my little notebook out here. We did this one last month for Permanent Violet. Well, not last month, the month before last in July. Yeah, that's fair. I'm the kind of person who moves a spider to better conditions just because, like, they're helpful. We've got Trans Ally Cricket. Based on that protest group who let out a bunch of crickets in the middle of, like, a transphobic alliance meeting in the UK, and they were all so loud that they had to cancel the event. It was brilliant. We've got a golden tortoise beetle. We have a rubber ducky isopod. We have the green emerald millipede, giant green emerald millipede. I feel like I'm missing something, but I also have the memory of a slug. Like, digging through my stuff, I'm like, I feel like I put them all in the same spot, but maybe I didn't. Organization, who's that? Oh yeah, here we go. Then we've got shrimp, because shrimps is bugs. And we've got lobster mermaid, because lobsters are cockroach mermaids, basically. Oh, and here's Lolita Grimace, if anybody wanted to see that. I was just next to it. Yeah, shrimps is bugs. And there are many bugs of the sea. Is that all of them? I don't know. I really need to reorganize my stuff because I can't ever find anything. It's because I pull stuff out for stream and then I just shove it back wherever without thinking about it. Here's more bug stuff, but these are their terrariums and stuff. Oh yeah, here's one. Darner Dragonfly, and he's darning a sock. That's a Canadian Darner Dragonfly, specifically. That's fruitcake. That doesn't need to be in there. But we also did all these little terrariums for, I was thinking like a collectible display poster, but now I'm kind of second guessing that. I'm not sure I'm gonna do that. I think maybe that's it. But I am gonna use one of these, this one specifically, I made to use on the packaging. And that's what these are for too. I'm gonna put little stickers on the terrarium and stuff. And then do like a question mark. As like a mystery, because it's a mystery pack. But yeah, we've been chugging along on these lately, and I would really like to get the art done, so that I can start prepping files and like get them all set up, because it's gonna take a while to get these set up to the point where I can put them in the shop. Because not only do I have to just like prep the files and stuff, I also I'm putting all of the bugs in one folder, and I'm gonna forget that I did that and get really confused the next time I try to pull them out. Man, the encoding is even worse than it was. We're dropping frames. That's not great. What was I saying? Oh, because I need to make like a specific web page for all of them, and I want to make a like PDF checklist that people can print out from the website. My website, the website, it's my website. So that I don't know, you can just keep track. And I want to put a little QR code on the packaging so that you can go directly to that page to see the information. Which I don't like QR codes on principle, but sometimes they're the easiest way to do that. Depending on how bad I need to make the like actual URL, I might print the URL on there too. Just because, for one, I don't like scanning QR codes because like you don't actually know where they're gonna go. Like whenever somebody puts one of those in like the bathroom or something to like scan this if you need help, I'm like, that could be leading me directly into a virus. Like, I don't know. They are massively unsafe on a base level, but there's also not a huge amount of options for that for packaging if it's going to be small, because my packaging is going to be like 3 by 3-ish, because that's how big the stickers are going to be. Okay. I gotta juice up my pen before we start inking this guy. Yeah, my dad has a PhD in electrical engineering, and he did like theoretical computer sciences before that was really like an actual profession that you could go into. So we had many discussions about this while I was growing up. Okay, let's put a bunch of goose poop green right on the palette, because that's what we're focusing on this month. Hey, love, good to see you. You missed a hype train. Everybody was really niceys to me. Yeah. Especially because, like, I work at the university, right, to do modeling, and they have like little newsletters that they put up in the bathroom, and they always have a QR code on them, and I'm like, it would be so easy for somebody to just put a sticker over one of those and to lead everybody to like a downloaded virus. It would be crazy easy to do that. It's like a huge security risk, and I don't know why we can't not do that, you know? Like, I get why they're useful, but also not safe. Yeah. They actually, when I was traveling too, they had a fair number of those in like airport bathrooms. Specifically because like in the female bathrooms for human trafficking stuff, right? So they say, you know, if you're unsafe, scan this with your phone and we'll come help you, basically. But again, it's not really safe. Fair, Cap. I do think that you have used that one before. Did I actually say our plan at any point during this? I don't know that I did. We're gonna ink this guy, but the ink needs to dry in between that and me painting it. So we might do the Lego kit that Stars got me, or I might do some swatches in between. Because the longer I let the ink dry, the less likely it is to bleed out when I start painting. Because this kind of pen is usually like good about not like reactivating with water, but it does need some time to dry, which is like fair. How's everybody else doing? How's Trix? I am glad that the neighbors shut up for 5 seconds. They were revving their car real loud while I was starting up. Yeah, the only reason that I wouldn't do Lego is because Stars should be asleep right now. And since she's the one who got it for me, I kind of feel like I should do it when she can actually be there. I'm guessing that's Grim whenever my chat will load. Is it just not going to tell me? Yep, there it is. All right. Hi, Grim. I was right.
Show me your hands.
Oh my god, why can't you just take the freaking
Big compliment? I will do stretchy. Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe we do that Wednesday morning or Friday morning. I'm usually more out of it on Friday mornings because I get up earlier. And then Stars can actually be there for it. But I do also just want to play Legos. You know? Ham stretchies. I'm remembering that I did not warn my mods about something that I did. I should write that down so I don't forget. I do a CP. And really, I take 3 sippies, apparently, because I was thirsty and didn't realize it. Writing down the thing. Because I removed a couple of commands that I should learn them about. I know, Shawnee. I also did something else, too. I could actually send it to you guys right now. I'm just going to remember, like, everything that I should have done this morning and then got distracted about. Apparently. But that's why I have a thing over here. Turn oof. Yeah, that's definitely what I meant. Thanks, brain. Okay. Yeah, but I showed you guys this when I pulled it out of the package, but I am using my little planner. And yeah, the to-do list grows. I'm running out of room. Which is why I think the design that I'm doing for the one that I'm doing is pretty good. Yeah. My brain has not been in, like, the best spot for the past week, so I give myself grace that, you know, when your brain is chewing on something else pretty hefty, things fall between the cracks, and that's just because your brain is focused on other stuff, and that's okay. That doesn't make me a bad person. It just makes me human. All good. I do also need to compliment myself, and I do think that that counted, but I will do one on purpose instead. I've been really good about cleaning stuff when I see stuff instead of saying I can do that later and then never doing it. I've been much better about that. So, this is another neurodivergent thing where you walk past the same piece of paper that's been on the floor for like a month and you just stare at it every time you go by, but you never pick it up. I've started picking those things up. I made a point to start picking those up and clean up a little bit better. It's just one of those things where, like, your brain doesn't want to do that stuff because it doesn't give you any brain chemicals, you know? But I try to have a rule where if it takes less than 10 minutes, I will just do it. And that's easy to do when my brain is, like, on track. It is not so easy to do when my brain is not on track. So we're getting back to it. Hi, Shawnee. I love you. Oh, all good, Shawnee. No worries. I don't have the rewards queue open, but I believe I have done everything that's in there. Because it should all have been from Grim. I did check it before I started. So. Hi, cat. What's your kitty's name, Thymie? I feel like I should know that. I feel like you've told me and I just don't remember. You love kitty cat. I ruined Khan's life last night because I shut my door earlier in the evening than I normally do, and so he just sat outside of the room, meowing sadly every time I opened the door and then closed it again. But sometimes you just need, like, no cat time. Like, ooh, meatballs. Love a meatball. Sounds yummy. Man, I haven't had, like, real Italian food in a long time. Meow. Little kitty cat. Or as I always say, kibby cat. Little kibby cat. I know future me will thank me for making these outlines like very clear for the edge of the peel, but like current inking Katie is not pleased about this situation. Oh, that's fair, Thymie. You don't need to. We can just say hello, Kitty. Yeah, our first cat just had a people name, so. Old man. Yeah, we do love an old man cat. I meow. Love it. That's perfect. Ooh, yeah, that's excellent, Shawnee. Gotta love a homemade sauce, too. Even if it's just one that you, like, zhuzh up from a container, it's always better. You gotta add stuff to it. It's their alias. Or, I don't know, what would witness protection be for a cat? Witness protection, perhaps? Did somebody else come up with a better pun than me? Whisker protection. Yeah. Okay. Do you think that maybe we're gonna change the line art from what I did before, and then maybe I'm gonna hate it later, but I just changed like where something was in front of something else. Oh my gosh. Hi, kitties. So many kitties. Hello, kitty cats. They do. They know. They know that I will treat them right. Which is also why I have so many friends who are girls. God, there was a reel that I saw this morning that was like a girl saying that she'll like treat all her girlfriends better so that they don't fall for a mediocre man who does like the bare minimum. And I'm like, oh, that me. I don't know that I've said on stream before, but for a significant portion of college for me, my nickname was Better Boyfriend. And people would use me as like a bludgeoning tool against their boyfriends when they weren't living up to what they should have been doing. Fridge kitty squeakers and ginger boy. Love that. My grandma had a kitty that she called Squeakers too. She was an old lady cat and she like hated everybody. It was great. I think that I missed a spot on this banana. Ooh, put one right here. Yep. Better watch out for old man, fridge kitty, squeakers, and ginger boy. Okay. Banana peel accomplished. Now we just have to do the slug. Which I haven't painted a slug before. I have painted bananas before. I'm surprised, honestly, that I said earlier that I've licked multiple banana slugs and nobody said anything about that. They make your tongue go numb. I've licked multiple banana slugs. I don't know, it's just a thing you do in various science classes in Oregon. Or like outdoor school kind of stuff, where they're like, if you lick this slug, your tongue will go numb. And they're like, okay, who wants to lick the slug? And I just did. It's not that gross. It's fine. It didn't kill me. And I was already weird, so. Yeah, there was, so, the camp that I went to growing up a lot that I've mentioned before, one of the summer camps that they had, each of the, well, I guess I need to start at a different point of the story for that to make sense. Basically every camp you went to, one of the first, like, little crafts you did was making your own name tag. And they were always, like, these, like, wood chips. So, like, just like a slice of a tree limb. And they used the stuff that they trimmed from the camp itself. So it was just, like, using what was around. And so you decorate those. And for some of the camps, you could get specific pony beads to decorate the strand on it. And each of the counselors would have a different pony bead color, and they could set a challenge for you to earn the pony bead. And so part of the point was collecting all the ones from the different counselors. And one of the guys regularly had his bead like a banana slug. Because, like, they won't mess with you. It's fine. It just makes your tongue numb for like 5 minutes. And so I always got that one. I'm missing a whole line over here. Did I put that line in a vastly different spot than it was on the sketch? Yep, sure did. But I think it looks good, so. Oh, fine. I'm tempted to put in the texture lines on the inside of the banana peel, but I think that's going to look better if I do it, in watercolor. So I'm going to resist that temptation. And not do that. I haven't dropped more frames, but I am still getting the encoding overload. I need to mess with that more. I thought I did the thing that fixed it last time. Yeah, pretty much, except you don't really taste anything from a banana slug, at least. Although I can't say that I've licked a 9-volt battery before. Maybe I should do that. I think we have some in the closet. Cap's not here. He can't tell me not to. There is that thing that you can do, which I don't know if you can actually make them anymore, because I forget why. Maybe it was they stopped producing the flavor or something. But with Lifesavers, if you got the specific wintergreen flavor and you got your mouth like really dry, if you chomped them in the dark, it would make sparks in your mouth. We did that for a science project once too. Nothing. Yeah, I honestly prefer to not eat a banana most of the time. But I do still usually open it from the stem side. Wintergreen. Yep. Okay. Is that all the pencil? I think yes. Oh, not quite. Right there. Anybody else? That's good. All right. Shh, Wib. Don't let him know. We could get away with it. I don't know how loud this is going to be on the new mic. So we're going to find that out together. Hi, Tomato. Yeah, Tomato. I think mostly it's just that our spit is conductive. I don't know that it actually, like, adds more power, but it might, like, make it easier to pull the power from in things that where the connections aren't very good. That would be my guess anyway. Okay, I'm gonna turn Leon on to brush up all of this eraser dust. I don't know how loud he's gonna be on the new mic. So protect your ears. If you have headphones in, perhaps consider taking the headphones off for a moment or lifting them off of your ears just so that we can see, because this mic is more intense on picking up surrounding sound than my headset was. So, all right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pretty noticeable. I don't think that's any louder than my voice was, so. Although me hitting the ceramic palette was very loud. Okay, we're done with Leon. He can go away now. It's safe for your little ears again. Or as safe as my voice ever is, anyway. Yeah, maybe Tomato, I don't know. Okay. I need to let this dry, even though I want to start painting that. Like right now, that's a bad idea. I need to leave it there, and I need to be patient, which is definitely one of my qualities that exist in my person, for sure. I do have some swatches to do, because these have just been like sitting around for ages, so we can do some of these while we're sitting around. Conversation card, you got it. Because I do still have these samples that I was going to use some of them for this. I don't understand why they made the box like this. Like, why would you not just make it so that it fits the cards? I don't understand. It seems silly to me. Okay, not too loud. Good to know. It didn't look like it was, like, much louder than I am, anyway. Alright. Left or right, Shawnee? Yeah, and it, like, makes loud noises when you move it around. It seems silly to me. Like a waste of materials. Left. Okay, so these ones always have 3, and sometimes they're really intense questions. So I'm going to read all 3 questions out, and we can choose to answer all of them, or one of them, or none of them, or whatever floats your boat. Yeah. It is something that I should warn people before I do, though, I guess is really the takeaway from that. But I didn't want to hurt anybody's little eardrums. All right, the first question. Did you try anything for the first time in the past year? The second question is, did you have a nickname growing up? And third is, if you had to show a tourist one place where you live, where would you take them? I did try something for the first time this year. I left the United States. I also got my passport, which I've never had before. Okay. And I went to visit my long-distance boyfriend, which you guys already knew, but I also met friends off of the internet in Canada. Tomato and Sleepy I got to meet, and also Potato I got to meet. Which is all new for me. I've never done that before, neither. You sure did, Tomato, and I guess I showed you one thing, since you hadn't been to that museum before. Yeah, you can't take me someplace and not show me the museum, if there is one. I need to see museums to live as a person. Here, there's a lot of really cool things to see, but I definitely think going to the Alaska Native Heritage Center is the one thing that I would do for, like, everyone. Because it's basically like a living museum. So there's, like, actual, like, indoor kind of artifact museum, and they roll that exhibit over pretty often. But they also have, like, little like shows and stuff inside. So they show you, like, the Yupik games, and they show you like Inupiaq dancing, or they have, like, storytellers come in and do native stories. And then outside you have a little example house of each of the different types of Alaska Native in, like, a big circle. So you can go around and look inside the houses. And they will often have elders in there from each culture to tell you stories and stuff. It's a very cool experience, and I think it's really awesome. And did you have a nickname growing up? Technically, Katie is a nickname. That's not my full name. Yeah, you did, Shawnee. I'm so proud of you. I know that was scary. What colors do I think I need? I think I need more reds and oranges on here for sure. Maybe some more portables. Let's work on that first. Which would be these 2 sheets. I don't want to do all of these because, like, that's excessive. And while I am excessive, I don't need to make that much extra work for myself. And I don't think we need, like, 35 different colors of black. I also move my palette. Okay. Yeah, you did, Tomato. I'm proud of you. Oh, I get... I love that, like, there was also another really big first time that I just didn't even think of until right now. Can you guys suspect what thing might have happened to me this year that I might have, like, just glossed over right then? Can you remember what I did not immediately? Alright, let's do this orange. Very orange. Yeah, surgery. I had a whole body part removed. And that just, like, did not even make an influence on me, I guess. But I did. I had my first real major surgery. And I now have one less organ. Which is great. It does offer some new difficulties that I didn't have before, but... Oh yeah, please get your rest and everything. Thanks for the lurk, Illuminati. And have fun with your friends tomorrow. But there are some new difficulties from not having that organ, but overall, it's way better to not have it. The difficulties are more just like getting used to, I don't know, different warning signals, I guess is the way to put it. Oh gosh, Tomato, fingers crossed for you. We're getting disturbingly close to the end of the year. Yeah, good plan, Cap. I think my other round brush is actually better for these snowflakes than this one. I figured I'd test it just to, like, see. But I do think the painted, or the pointed end is not as good for the little bits. It is better for the points on the star inside it, though. Hi, Sleepy! Thank you, Doodle made this one for me. I do really like this orange. It's very, like, safety orange. Maybe the play is to do the points with this brush and then do the other bits with the other brush. Maybe? Use 2 brushes for something? That sounds like a lot of work, though. Where is that other one that I want? Not you. You. Oh my gosh, yeah, you would be much taller. I guess if we want to go with high school nicknames, I think I've said this to people before, but if you haven't been here a lot, this might surprise you in a number of ways. Or if you have been here, it might still surprise you, honestly, if you haven't heard it before. But my nickname in high school was the Dominatrix. Like, people made me little gifts with Dominatrix on it. Well, that makes sense, Sleepy. Hi, Al. Yeah, that does seem like one for you to come in on specifically. Yeah, red makes sense. That's an interesting one, DeSalto. How did you feel about that one? Because, like, I feel like being called sloth can be taken in, like, a negative way. Which isn't how, like, it was meant clearly from the story, but... yeah, I remember you saying that, Sleepy. Okay, good. As long as you thought it was funny. All good. Good, good. I mean, I feel like there was a certain age where we all kind of were weeaboos, you know? Some level. I'm gonna forget which of these colors I did when and not do them in the same order on the rose sheet, but that's okay. Oh yeah, Shawnee. That's great. I guess technically my username is from a nickname as well. My family used to call me Katie Bean. Because when I was very little, I think I was probably like 2, my mom called me a pill because I was being a brat, which I'm sure, again, shocks everybody in this chat that I would be a brat. And I responded with, I'm not a brat, I'm a human being. Or I'm not a pill, I'm a human being. And they started calling me Katie Bean. And then the guy I was dating in high school thought that was really cute, so he called me that a lot. And then I moved to Alaska, and so changed everything to Tundra Katie Bean. And it stuck, and here I am. Although that boyfriend has been gone for a long time. Yeah, the pierogi one is pretty cute, I think. Yeah, little dumpling. Hi, Tens! Yeah, that is pretty funny, Sleepy. You're just a little dumpling. And you're full of potatoes, and we all know. Yeah, well, you are our cap. You know. I mean, hell, I still call you that sometimes instead of, like, your actual name. Yeah, I haven't had pierogies in a long time. I don't know. I feel like Sleepy might be into that, actually. Oh, that's cute, Diabra. I don't really have a lot of pink here either. Let's do this color. Tilly Floss is also very cute. I do notice when I'm doing stuff like this where I'm like trying to do a spattering of color, I definitely tend towards the colors that I like, and then I like forget to do ones in the ranges that I'm not as fond of. So, like, there's a lot of blue and green on this, and, like, no pink. I did purposefully include a couple yellows because I know that I avoid those and they are useful for this, but, like, hey. I mean, you don't really need a reason, I feel like. Actually, this goes with the dominatrix thing, because this is one of the people who called me that all the time. But I also had a friend named Andrew, which there are a lot of Andrews in the world. When I was in high school, who was like a good friend, and also jokingly called me the dominatrix. There was there was one time where I went to a dance with him specifically because there was somebody who had a crush on him, and he was like terrified of them and did not want to go to the dance with her. And I was like, I don't know how to avoid this and still be polite. And I was like, well, you're my date now, so you can't go with her. And he's like, oh my God, thank you. And we went out to like dinner before the dance just because like that's what you do. And he got milk with dinner, and I still remember that because I thought it was so weird in like an enduring kind of way. Like, who goes out to a restaurant and gets milk with their dinner? As, you know, a 17-year-old. But, so he nicknamed me the dominatrix. And, well, he was the first one to get me something that said dominatrix on it, I think. But his nickname, and I need you to remember that this was in like 2005, okay? It was a different era. I'm old. Okay? So remember that. But his nickname was Asexual Andrew, because he was just like not interested at all in that or romance, like even a little bit. And like we didn't really know the terms for like the way that they're used now for like asexual and aromantic. Like that was just not really a thing where we were at the time. But I think that he actually was both of those things. And he didn't mind us calling him that. Just to be clear. But it is one of those things where I like look back on it and I'm like, yeah, actually. I don't know how he is. I haven't talked to him in a long time. I should see if I could find him. Good guy. Although I legitimately have not talked to anybody I went to high school with in so many years. Oh yeah, Catholic school together will have you, like any sort of like religious thing, will have you naming each other after religious stuff. That's how the summer camps I went to were also religious, and that's just kind of how it went. And yeah, my Andrew calls me a brat. Which, to be fair, I called myself first. Although I was a lot more of a bitch when I was in high school, honestly. Because, like, being a teenager sucks ass. And, like, teenagers are right to be grouchy, honestly. Yeah, he was great. He was a nice guy. Like, definitely, you know that stupid trend where it was like, which man would you feel safer in the woods with than with a bear? Like, first it was, would you feel safer with a man or a bear? And then it became, who would you feel safe with in the woods? And I was like, actually, Andrew, still to this day, I probably would trust him in the woods. He was like the most gentle person I think I've ever known in my entire life. Yeah, I was very violent and a horrendous bitch when I was in high school, but that was a lot of undiagnosed mental illness and trauma. And now that I kind of know what's going on with myself a little bit more, it's not quite so bad. I mean, I still get rages, you know, as you do, but not near as bad as I did when I was in high school. What color do I want to do next? I should put little dots next to the ones I've done already, actually. I did that. I did... I did this one. Yeah, that's fair, Al. Let's do this like blood red next, because it's creepy and I like it. Yeah, I know you would, Shawnee. Although you really don't, generally speaking, if it's to the point where you need to fight the bear, you've already lost. Yeah, I know, Sleepy. I still, like, I know you said you're surprised that I remember this, but I'm still not over that thing with you, like, getting high and going into the woods specifically to be creeped out. Freak behavior, affectionate. That's different, Al. And also, yeah, that's why Sleepy streams that game, is because if they were playing it by themselves, they'd get too freaked out. But if we're there to make stupid jokes, then it eases the tension a little bit. Which I think is also similar to why I played Subnautica on stream. Because I has what's the word for that? Thalassophobia, fear of the ocean. And I think us being ridiculous helped a lot with that. Thalassophobia, so I was close. Yeah, I also am. Watching somebody play a horror game is very different than playing it yourself, for sure. Because, like, there was... What game was that, actually? There was a point where one of my old stream friends, Tin, who we have rated before, but he was doing a 24-hour stream at one point for charity, I think, at that point. And at the end of it, he was playing, is it Outlast? Maybe, where you're, like, I've seen the beginning of the game multiple times, where you're in, like, going to, like, an asylum, and you have to, like, hide in places because they've taken over the asylum, and you're, like, a investigative reporter or something. But he was playing that, and it's a very scary game, and it was late at night, and I 100% fell asleep while I was watching him play that. It's so different when somebody is, like, playing it for you to watch versus playing it yourself. Outlast, okay. Because I know Grim played the beginning of that for me, and we didn't finish it, but it seems interesting. It seems like an interesting lore game. Oh, yeah, that's cool, Shawnee. And yeah, that could be one of your things when you stream. Just like, let's make this horrifying game less horrifying. What color do I want? Maybe I want to do... the roses for these ones next, actually. Because basically, if you guys didn't know, the like swatches that I'm doing for this, they're gonna be little ceiling stickers. Because I already have some rose ones that I sell with my greeting cards, and I also close envelopes with when I'm sending quote unquote official mail. But I thought having the snowflake ones would also be good. And then I also got little cabochon, or however you're supposed to pronounce that, blanks for like pendants that are the right size for these. So I'll punch these out after I'm done scanning them and make little resin necklaces with them. Because I thought like they're relatively low effort, so they won't be super expensive. And it seems like a nice little thing to have, like an original art necklace. Oh, that's totally fair, Sleepy. I get that. Yeah, you weren't supposed to be there. Kind of feeling. For sure. We, had a science museum near where I grew up that had well, I guess still has, technically, a submarine in like the river that's behind the place, and you could go in there and like do a little tour and stuff like that. But you also, for some of the like kid events that they did, you could have like a sleepover in there for like students and stuff like that. And I refused to do that. It's fucking creepy, and I hate it in there. I hated going in the submarine. That was my least favorite part of the entire museum. But my dad loves submarines, so we always went in there. I hate it. The air smells stale, and it smells wrong, and like you shouldn't be in there, and it's the worst. Oh, really, Tins? I love that. How did you not find out before, though? Did they have like real stuff, or was it just like not that they like entered with, or was it just like not vetted properly? Yeah, that's creepy. I agree with that, Sleepy. Creepy as fuck. And like on one side, as beautiful as it is that they got kicked out, it kind of sucks that they took up table space from that like a real artist could have used. Mm-hmm. Oh, ew. Yeah, that's a lot of ick all at once. Like, I do definitely get that some of the bigger small artists, for lack of a better term, mid-range artist, I don't know what you want to call that, do have to have people do cons for them in various places. Just because they're so busy, which makes sense. But like, you aren't even actually making the art, so what are you doing? Yeah, fair. They're just like, I don't actually want a part in any of this, actually. I just want your money. Ooh, we like pastas. We're gonna get to discover if you guys can hear people on the porch. Because we have a delivery coming in. So if you guys hear my ancient doorbell too, that's why. Oh, is it tens? I would be happy to hear your opinions if you want to share them. I'm always interested. Because you're like an official con person, so. And I really don't do stuff like that. Although I need to start doing stuff like that. But there's some steps before I get there. Yeah, probably Sleepy. Ow. I mean, I have I think a different view on AI, generative AI stuff specifically, and a lot of people do. I don't think the argument is if it is art or if it isn't art. The fact is that it's unethical art. So if somebody wanted to completely make their own AI creation to only train off of their art personally, I don't really have a problem with that. I don't think any real artist would do that. Because every single artist I know is wildly particular about how their art looks. And with AI, you really don't have control over what the output is. Like, you are using prompts, but you have to get really specific with prompts and you still won't get the one thing that you want to get. So, like, as an artist, we all have control issues, especially over our own art. So, like, I could not, like, have underlings or something do paintings for me. I couldn't have, like, an AI just trained on my stuff, because also, if you're doing something that is only trained on what you've done in the past, you can't move forward with, one, your skill, or two, new ideas that you have. So you're really stuck and stagnant in what you have already done. So, like, for instance, I did a lot of art where I did these roses on just individual sheets all crunched together with different color patterns. If that was the only kind of art I wanted to make, I could theoretically train AI based off of that. But it would be boring as fuck. You know? Because it would never change, it would never grow. If I had only done that, I wouldn't have ended up at stuff like this. So, in a lot of ways, it really hampers you and just kind of kneecaps you into making the same thing repeatedly for the rest of all time, which is, like, boring. Later, Al. Yeah, for sure, Sleepy. Like, the amount of stuff you would need to properly train an AI is, like, a lot. I'd agree with that, Sleepy. Like, presenting the generated art as something that you handmade is not true. I do think that you have a right to call it art. I don't think calling it handmade is correct. Yeah, agreed, Sleepy. It is. It's a lie. It's fake marketing, which, like, another capitalism issue. But oh, yeah, that's also a good point, DeSalto. That, like, with AI, you really end up with a done aspect to it versus, like, learning and growing and doing something differently. So, like, I was talking to you guys, I don't have the piece out here right now, how I did a second set of these, this hand style, which is based on Paleolithic cave art. And I learned a lot from doing this the first time. So when I did it on a bigger sheet the second time, like this last week, after a year that I did this last year in August, and I did the new piece this year in August. I learned new stuff that made the piece have the same flavor, but is completely different. And you can't do that with something like AI because it doesn't actually learn, it just repeats. Yeah, for me, I am definitely a radical art inclusionist, which is definitely related to my anthropology stuff. One of the classes that I took in college was anthropology of art. And there are a lot of different ways to define art, and basically nobody agrees. A lot of people go with like the kind of porn definition of art, which is like I know art when I see it kind of a situation. I think that anything somebody makes with purpose is art. And basically nobody else agrees with me on that. And I'm aware of that. I'm aware that this is a very controversial opinion. But I think if you cook something, you purposefully made that, and so it's art. If you do a dance, you purposefully created something, so that's art. So the act of putting prompts into a generator is technically creation, and I would call it art. And again, I'm aware that that is not the definition that most people agree with. But I do think that for a long time, especially with generative AI, people were so focused on whether or not it was art, they were missing the actual, like it was a deflection from the actual issue. So instead of saying, well, this is stealing from a bunch of people, we were saying, well, does it count as art? And so it was like diverting the actual conversation that we needed to be having. Yeah, exactly. Something that you made on purpose has any kind of meaning. That works, yep. I do think that not all art has meaning. Kind of similar to people who say that tattoos have to have a meaning behind it. I don't think so. The meaning can just be that you think it looks cool. You know? Like, I showed you guys Lolita Grimace earlier because I pulled that out when I was looking at the bug art. And, like, that doesn't have any meaning behind it. I just had that thought and was like, I'm going to inflict this on everybody else, too. So, yeah. The how do we profit from this is what everybody else was talking about behind the scenes. But, you know, just capitalism things, tee-hee. I would say, like, that's my hot take, but I think it's actually a lukewarm take because I've been talking about it for, like, 5 years at this point. I've been saying the same shit repeatedly. So I think it's a... You know how sometimes you put your coffee to heat it up in the microwave and then you forget about it and you go back to open the microwave to do something else and the coffee is still there, like, 2 days later because you completely forgot about it? That's, like, what my take is. Yeah, tomato. Yeah, I think it's very similar. Yeah. Proxying. That makes sense. Yeah, exactly, tomato. That's a good way to put it. Like, I don't agree with how you're doing this, but you do have the right to make art. I will also say that one of my regular examples about other unethical art that people do believe is art, like there is really no argument anymore about whether or not it's art, even though there was around the time when it was done, is Picasso. Picasso had a lot of illicit affairs with various models that he painted, including someone who was 15 years old that he ended up getting married to because he knocked her up. That's unethical art. And in my mind, that's not that different from generative AI art. It's unethical. Yeah, for sure. And on Sleepy's point, there are a lot of different ways that disabled people have made art, and made adaptive art specifically. So, like, I'm not going to remember his name off the top of my head, but there is an artist who has cerebral palsy who altered a typewriter so that he could use that to make paintings because it was something that his shaky hands let him do. So, like, there is a lot of adaptive art, but if we focus on this is the only way that people can make art accessible, what we're actually doing is cutting a lot of people off from various art techniques. So, like, for instance, there are weights that you can buy to put on the end of your paintbrush to help you keep a steadier line if you have handshake from, neuropathy or something like that. So by saying that AI is the only way that some people can make art, it really just makes it so that capitalism doesn't have any purpose to making art more accessible as a whole. Because that isn't the real argument. That's the argument they think they will win with. It's not an actual belief that people doing AI want to have happen. They don't actually want art to be accessible to everybody. They just want to do their little trick and feel important about it. Which is kind of a classic conservative approach. You can look at basically anything conservatives do, and that will be at the base of it, which is why pointing out their hypocrisy never works. It's because it's not really hypocrisy because they don't actually believe in it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, okay, so I've had on Cap's point that he thinks that they didn't actually make anything. I've had similar discussions about other types of art. So, for instance, cross-stitching patterns. Some people think that you didn't really make the art because you followed a pattern. So somebody else did, quote unquote, the work to make the art. And the time you put into it doesn't count. That doesn't make it art. And my argument with that often, well, one, there's a whole discussion to be had there about fiber arts being discounted as a whole because it's women's work. But also, like, if you use a recipe to make a cake, who made the cake? So if you put this cake that was baked based off of a recipe on the table, do you say, I made this cake to bring to the potluck? Or do you say, Betty Crocker made this cake? Which I think is similar to how I view that situation of putting prompts into something and getting something out. It's similar to coding as well, I would say, which I would also count as art. And again, not a lot of people would. So it's just one of those, I guess, thought exercises is the way that I pointed out, just to, like, poke and see where people's thoughts actually are, or if they're just reactionary to one specific thing. What color did I do next? I did this one. Well, I mean, so I have a Betty Crocker cookbook. And I'm not talking about a box cake. I'm talking about following a recipe. What makes that different? Following a Betty Crocker recipe versus making a Betty Crocker box cake. And do you still say that Betty Crocker made the cake for the recipe? Or do you think that the person who put the cake in the oven made the cake? Ah, gotcha, Tens. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not saying that that is a complete one-for-one comparison. I'm putting that out as a thought exercise in comparison to that concept to try and explain where I'm vaguely coming from, the mindset that I'm trying to come from. And I'm not expecting to change anybody's mind or, have anybody agree with me, to be clear. This is just another one of those things where, because this is something that I have experience in discussing via a variety of different disciplines, I have a different view on it than a lot of people do. That's fair, DeSalto. I like that comparison. Because I also would think, so for instance, a draw this in your style situation, where you're getting all of the information and then just changing it to how you would do it. And yes, you are putting in more work to that, which I think is a lot of Cap's point here, than you would to do a generative prompt. Yeah, I get what you mean, Tens, for sure. Okay, I'm going to ask another question here in relation. Do you think that tracing is cheating when it comes to art? Does that mean that it's not your art anymore? If you trace, let's say you smash together 3 different references because you can't find the perfect reference image, and somebody slaps those together and then traces them. Does that still count as art? Yeah, Tens. I can see both angles to that for sure. God, this paintbrush always holds on so much pigment from the last paint. Yeah, for sure, Shawnee. And there's also an argument to be made there for, again, old school art that basically nobody argues if it is art anymore. But the classic way for somebody to learn art for a very long time was copying one for one the master's paintings. And students still do master studies. That's still a classic part of art school. So, like, again, it isn't questioned that a reproduction in those instances is still art, even though it's a one-for-one copy, or as close to one-to-one as you can get. Okay, so a fundamental part of what you consider art is having a learning process. Is that correct? Yeah, that's cool, Tomato. It is interesting because, like, definitely as an artist, you end up with, like, your group of references or whatever that you use. But it's gotten to the point where for some things that I've done a lot of, I just use my own old art as reference. Okay. And again, I don't disagree with you. I'm just trying to understand where your thought point's coming from. Because like I said, again, AI cannot change or grow. It can only repeat what has already been put into it. Hey, Bubba. What do you think is art? You think art keeps me from petting you? That's fair. Yeah, I have noticed that you do that, Shani. It's also kind of a thing where a lot of people will redraw memes. Is a pretty common thing now. But a lot of times the memes themselves are not attributed as art. So, for instance, Casey Green, who did Casey as in the initials K and C, not Casey as in the name, who did the This Is Fine comic, very rarely gets attribution when that meme is used. And plenty of people have drawn over it and sell different versions of it. So there's another thing to be talked about with attribution of memes, which is something that annoys the shit out of me personally. Exactly, Sleepy. And that's kind of my point. Like, at the end of the day, what everybody considers art is different. And some people only consider what I call capital A art as art. And some people consider other things as art that aren't. And at the end of the day, like, that aren't readily agreed upon by everybody is what I mean. At the end of the day, it's one of those things where we just have to decide our own definition and continue onwards with our lives, you know? But I do think that it's worth, and I think this is worth it for basically any topic, is to dig into why you think that way. Because I do think that introspection and understanding why you consider certain things to be art and why you don't consider other things to be art is a good time to spend with yourself. And also, I think that it will make you more ready to accept other arts that are often discounted. So, for instance, Native arts, Native American arts or indigenous arts, fiber arts are often considered differently than Western art. And there's a reason for that. And if you dig into it a little bit, you can tell often that the reason is misogyny and racism. But you still need to do that thinking with yourself to consider why these things might have been considered differently. And if you consider them differently because you have sucked up that information from enculturation where you were raised, right? So digging into your opinion there is what I think is most important. And I think is the most important part of that discussion that has around AI that has not really been touched upon, because we all got too pissy about it and started rage baiting each other. You know? Yeah, I do fiber arts. I'm technically a trained fiber artist. Like, that's what my actual art minor was in. Here, I actually have a piece of fiber art right here that I can show you that I did. I did this little embroidery. Most of my training was on a floor loom, specifically. But I've been embroidering and stuff like that, too. So. Yeah, that's totally fine, Sleepy. If it's not for you, it's not for you. And that's your, like, you're right as a person. If you don't like it, you don't like it. And that's fine. It's kind of like how I'm not a big fan of the color yellow. Like, you know, so I tend to not get art with the color yellow in it. Absolutely, Thymie. Absolutely. And that's exactly the kind of thing that I'm trying to point out. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal. And there's a lot that you can learn. So you touched on a trap card here. My graduate thesis, if I had actually gone to grad school, was going to be about cultural change through clothing. Because clothing shows a lot about the culture that it's created in and what various cultures find important or not important. And you can see a lot of things. So I did a actual research paper on this in my last semester of college, where I was looking at specifically Lakota Sioux, Navajo, and African American clothing in the Gilded and Progressive eras. So that was when the Sioux Wars were happening. That was when slavery was ended, and there were suddenly like thousands of people that needed clothes because they hadn't been clothed properly before. That was also when Spanish Navajo blanket weaving was monetized by white people. So there's a drastic amount of changes that you can see in dyes, that you can see in embellishments like seed beads and stuff like that, that you can actually track a lot of information with. And because people discount clothing as, ooh, it's girly and it doesn't count for anything, you're losing out on a lot of information. And a lot of information about people in general and in those cultures. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. And in fact, I will argue about it at length. And I'll cite my dang sources. Hi, Fel. It's good to see you. Okay. I think that it's probably been long enough that we can work on this guy a little bit. I guess I could also write down the project that I'm doing right now on here instead of forgetting to write it down until I take the wrap-up photo at the end of the month. Teehee. My name is Slug. Means I do need to put my paint palette back up here. Which I almost forgot to bring this out from the back room because I've been working on those Venuses. Oh, yeah, that's a big one, Sleepy, for sure. That people will discount music if they don't like it. Well, it's not real music. And that's actually a regular thing with rap music, is that people will say that's not real music. And this will shock you guys, but that always boils down to just racism. I was actually complaining about that to Cap the other day. So true, Kvelds. God, I'm spending so much time. So I'm planning a D&D campaign with Cap and a few other friends that Grim is going to run for us. And the most important part of making my character is figuring out her clothes for me. So you guys can get a little sneaky peeky into my D&D character. But one of the big things for me is that my character is going to have an eating disorder. Because that's the only portion of her life that she actually has control over, which means I need to think about how her clothes could be taken in without making it very obvious, and how she can hide the fact of how thin she is so that people don't worry about it. So thinking about that in like a like functional way that would work in the setting, it's like a little puzzle. I love figuring it out. And it actually is very easy with like fantasy style clothing if you go based off of like medieval style clothing, because it was often very customizable. So like, for instance, the lacing that you would have on shirts and stuff like that meant that you could make it smaller or bigger at various times of the year and stuff like that. So like, if you look, you can figure it out, but you have to think about it in order to look, you know? Robes mostly, Shawnee. So my character is mostly based around, she's like a mystic, and her entire family is based around tarot cards specifically. So each of the family members has a tarot card that they're like named after. That's one part of their name. And so she's got to have like woo-woo clothing. She has to look spoopy. Yeah, absolutely, Thymie. And part of the thing about like clothing museums and stuff like that is that the most likely clothing to survive is from, one, rich people because they had more clothes and so they didn't have to wear stuff into the ground, and two, sizes that were not very common. So the idea that everybody who lived in a certain era was very thin because that's the only stuff that we have is not the case. Yeah, exactly, Femi. So a lot of clothing gets reused in specific ways. Yep, it's survivor bias. Okay, I need to decide how I want to do this. And the answer is I have not thought about it even a little bit yet. Exactly. And that's also why we have once wedding dresses as like a status symbol became a thing. We have a lot of those left over. But less suits for men because those were things that they could reuse. Although for the most part, in Western stuff at least, men's fashion has some changes, but for a significant while has not changed very drastically. I should pull up my reference at some point here. But I remember that this part is more yellow than the rest. But yeah, it's all cool and interesting. There actually was I was really disappointed because there's a textile museum in Toronto that I really wanted to go to while I was there, but they were shut down. They're doing like crowdfunding to try to stay open. And I was like, I wish I could have gone. There was also a shoe museum that I would have liked to go to, but I did not have the time. Maybe someday. I do think I want to use the lighter green-based yellow to do the banana peel start. This is going to be a brown banana, as you might guess by the spots here. But it's still got a little bit of green in it, always. That's another weird thing about art, is like, until you start doing a lot of stuff with color, you don't realize how many colors like actually interact with each other. Yeah, I actually have a sticker for banana bread, which is another time that I have done a, where is it? Here it is. A bruised banana. That's one of the stickers I sell. It's part of a trio, actually. So there's one based on me, which is this one, and one based on Cap, and then one based on Grim from back when we were dating. We're just friends now, but the trio. And Grim gave me permission to keep selling the sticker. I did ask. And Grimm's response was, make that bread. Yeah, banana bread. I did a little thing where each of us were like one of our favorite animals or an animal that's related, and then a favorite food item. Oh yeah, I need to double check the Canada Post situation before I forget again. I did check before I mailed out the ones for August, but I need to remember to keep an eye on it. Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of them are very small, which like it makes sense. I was actually thinking, so I was filling out my new sticker book because I showed you guys the other sticker book that I got. Because I was moving some stuff into there and putting my newer stickers in there and stuff like that. And I was considering, because I would like to make my own sticker book, but given the tariff situation and the fact that basically all manufacturing for those is in China, that's not going to be a possibility soonish. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, what I would really like is a sticker book that has removable pages that you can rearrange. Because when I was putting my stickers in, I do them by like theme and stuff because it's fun for me. And I was thinking it would be nice to like be able to put more pages in, but for some of the areas where I was like, oh yeah, I will have a lot of stickers like with skulls on them, for instance. That's something I get a lot. I left some extra pages in between before I started laying in the next like theme. But it would be nice to have like a 3-hole punch binder of sticker paper kind of a thing. Yeah, exactly. And I can buy the sticker paper in the US. I just can't buy the sticker book. So I'm thinking that maybe I could possibly make my own like 3-ring bound sticker books. Because I would just need to get like, I would just need to print like the covers, basically. And then cut and punch the paper into the right shape for that. But that might be a way that I could do a sticker book that would also have kind of like a new or like a different vibe than the ones that are already on the market that would be useful. So that's cooking. I'm cooking. But figuring that out is gonna be some stuff. I gotta stew on it for a bit before I come up with a decision there. Because figuring out how to make the make the covers like look nice instead of just like something I printed and shoved into a binder is going to be a figure it out situation. What was I doing? I was pulling up my reference image and then I took a progress photo because I needed to do that anyway. Yeah, but yeah, I was thinking about that yesterday because I was lurking in Sleepy's for like a really long time and putting my little stickers in my little book. I do think I want a base of yellow over this whole thing. Except for maybe the mantle. But yeah, if anybody else has any brilliant ideas there, feel free to fire it my way. Because that is something that I was like really hoping to get going, and then the tariff situation was like, actually, fuck you personally. And I was like, I think under brown for the head would be good. And then the green gold, that's actually the color for this munch, will go over top. Guess Well, I can do that with ink if I want to. I should have some higher highlights on this because if you don't know about slugs, they're moist. They're very moist boys. Well, not really boys. They can be any gender they want, like literally. They will change. So you'll end up with stacks of slugs where like the bottom one is the most female and the top is the most male, and there's just like a spectrum in between. I mean, they make your mouth numb, so I guess that is bad mouthfeel and like it makes you bad at feeling with your mouth. Were you here for that discussion, Sleepy? I've licked multiple banana slugs. That was part of the discussion at the beginning of the stream. I think maybe doing yellow ochre is a start for... So. Probably have it printed, I think, by me. I feel like that will be more manageable for me overall, because I already do so much of this stuff myself. To be fair, I haven't licked a slug in over 20 years. I have not licked a slug since I moved out of Oregon. And I think the last one that I licked before I moved out of Oregon was probably when I was like 12, so... before I started really worrying about being the weird kid. I actually haven't seen a banana slug in a really long time. I guess I saw one when I went and visited Oregon. God, back when I was dating Ben, so that was a while ago. And we went on like a walk and saw a banana slug. But it was too far away for me to lick, so wasn't an option then. But I often made a joke when I was in college that my gender was banana slug. Because, like, they're just weird little guys. And if you try to lick them, they'll mess with your life, I guess. And also they can change their gender at will. Which I vibe with. So. Okay, I need to figure out what color I want to do for the inside of the banana peel. Because I do need to add the underpainting for the lines on the banana peel before I put down the base color. Which means we're gonna play around with some mixes here. Let's see what I think. I do think basing it in yellow is probably the best shout. I'll probably want to use a little bit brown too. Maybe too much. I think doing that and then doing left titanium over the top probably. Yeah. Okay. I figured it out. My first guess was correct, I think. Okay. I should mix more of that color first, though. What time is it? Okay. Oh, also, happy Labor Day, I guess, folks. Labor Day is Labor Day. I do want this to be pretty light, so I'm putting more water in it. Yeah, today Labor Day is Labor Day. Nice. We love more money. Cap got the day off today. And Greg doesn't have classes. Yes, thank you, workers of the world. And also thank you, Lucy Parsons. I love you. Please come back and slap Trump in the face. That's another one of the trap cards when somebody is like, who, living or dead, would you want to like revive to have dinner with? I'm like Lucy Parsons, and they're like, who the fuck is that? And then I'm like, hee hee. Get to go on a little spiel. That's true, Sleepy. Just think of every minute as another, addition to your hot pot. Oh, you said you have a new soup place, though. What's the new soup place? Yeah, see, the problem with running a small business when you're like you never get a day off, actually. Because I know you as a person, Sleepy. Oh, wait. That wasn't the best line I've ever made. That's okay, though. Excellent. There we go. I was like, I should be able to do that, I think. Ooh, meal deal for 2 is great. Me realizing I get, just in case anybody's wondering, I gift all my mod subs, if they don't want to get one for themselves or can't or whatever, because I consider it payment for the job. It also technically is a business expense, so I could write it off if I wanted to, but I don't. But meal deal for 2 is like perfect for you guys. Pickle bribes. Yep. The whole reason that pickle emote is added is so that Shawnee doesn't leave me. Shawnee can't leave me when I have a pickle. I think doing these lines and then doing like underpainting shading for this to get some of the texture down. Love you too, Shawnee. You're welcome, Sleepy. That's part of the perks. Yeah, thank you for keeping my eggplant moist, Shawnee. Oh man, so I took a shower this morning, which I'm sure you all really needed to know. But I decided that since Stars wasn't streaming this morning, I was like, well, I have some extra time. So I like did a bunch of extra shit. So I like did a little eye mask and I did extra moisturizing for my feet. And I used my scented oils. And it was nice. I mean, I was also working that whole time, but, you know, having some extra goops is always nice. Love a goop. Yeah, exactly. I really needed it for my feet, though. Like, even if I didn't have time, I should have done that. Because, so, when I visited Canada, I did a lot more walking than I normally do. Especially with Sleepy and Tomato, who I visited first. To the point that basically the entire bottom of my heel was one blister. That started peeling last week. So I look like I'm dying a little bit. It's a little bit of a mess. It's really, like, it's not a big deal to me overall, but it is kind of like, I should probably make that look less disgusting before I have to model and people see my bare feet. Probably, you know. Probably. And I also walked the entire Edmonton Mall with Tomato. So... And I generally, I'm not really a leave the house person if left to my own devices. So it was definitely more than I usually walk. I am very glad that I actually brought my big boots, because that could have been worse for my little Pete's. They're just like big, so they're annoying to pack. Yeah. Like, it was all great, but my feet, my dogs was barking, you know. We're making a sad woo, perhaps. Have good lurk and good cook, Rainbow. I'll see you later. Rainbow's streaming later today. Go hang out with Rainbow. Rainbow is streaming in like an hour and 15 minutes. Just so you all know. So that you can be there. Thank you for doing the shout outs. I do think that I will do the Celeste Lego kit Wednesday or Friday, so that Stars can see me do it, since she's the one who got it for me. I think we filled up time today pretty well around it. I just wasn't really sure what I was going to do for stream today, because I literally got this sketched out this morning. Like, I finished the sketch maybe 45 minutes before stream. Sometimes your brain just does not want to do things. And sometimes you just need to let it not do things, you know? Sometimes you just need to zone out and play Animal Crossing for 8 hours. Oh, I did get an order today, though, which was... Or, not today, yesterday. Which was nice. Where's my other banana reference? Normal things to say. Probably, yeah. There it is. Oh, spooky games. Do I have any spooky games? I don't do a huge amount of spooky gaming, because I get spooked. But I will consider on that. What kind of spook you thinking? I'm guessing you mean like fun spooky and not like you're gonna shit yourself spooky, just as a guess. Yeah, okay. So the kind that I like, which is why you're asking me. Got it. Well, there is a second Oxenfree, actually. That might be worth it. It is pretty different. And I don't think it's as good as the first one, but I still think it's worth a play, for sure. You do get to deal with more shitty teenagers in that one. Okay, good, good. I'm sure you have a list somewhere that I can see that I just haven't looked at yet. I haven't played those ones, Shawnee. I did watch I play a little bit of Little Nightmares. And yeah, it was a little nightmare. Aptly named, I think. It was spoopy. It kind of had like Coraline movie vibes to me. Hey, Freezer! Good to see you! Oh, what were those ones? Lib played one of them, and I think played a couple of them. The, Amanda games? Those ones are kind of spoopy and fun. They're kind of like puzzly games, but they're ones that you have to, like, actively have to redo things a few times to get all of the material. And it's kind of like a lore discovery series of games. It's pretty interesting. I watched a, like, full playthrough because I didn't catch all of Lib playing through it. But yeah, that one's fun. Yeah, okay, fair, fair. All of the friendos. I Am Dead is a good game that I would recommend, but is not spooky, despite what the title sounds like. So perhaps not the right play for Spoopy October. Ooh, I haven't heard of Kiosk before, I think. Yeah, fair. I Am Dead is definitely one of my favorites, for sure. Ooh, you know what you should do? Beacon Pines, actually. If you haven't done Beacon Pines before, that would be a really good October one. I knew I would come to something good if I thought about it long enough. Oh, yeah, Alien Isolation is a crazy... Like, it seems like one of those games that people play because they hate themselves and don't want to be happy. Oh, interesting, Tomato. But yeah, I really liked Beacon Pines. It can be difficult, I think, to stream just because it's a lot of listening to voice acting. There's a fair amount of reading involved too, because there's like a lot of cutscenes with voice acting and stuff. But it is a nice spoopy game that you kind of get surprised by the spoop. Fair, Bloom. It doesn't quite look like a banana slug yet. We've only got like base colors in. What other games do I know that are a little bit spooky? I really like Beacon Pines. Again, that's one of like my top 10 games of ever. Although, I don't know. I have not counted what all is in my top 10 games of ever. There's probably more than 10, if I'm being honest. But you get the vibe. You know what I mean. Maybe I don't actually need the buff titanium over this. Maybe this is the vibe. Oh, I might know where you're headed with this, Shawnee. Yeah, exactly, Bloom. But like, it isn't a numerical guide. It's just like the vibe, you know? There was a year where like one of my purposes that year was to do more new media, like stuff that was new to me. Because I have, like many neurodivergent people, tendency to like replay or rewatch the same things repeatedly. So I had like a spreadsheet because I'm me. I'm sure that shocks absolutely nobody in this chat that I would make a spreadsheet. Which meant that I had like a really nice list of all the games that I'd played. Oh, later, Allie. Thank you for popping in. And thanks again for the follow. Yeah, Plague Tale is good. I watched I play that one. It was fun. I think maybe I put the lines too close together in this one, but that's okay. Nobody knows but us. It'll be fine. I'm trying to think about what other spooky. There's one that I started playing that I ended up not liking very much, but I still think it's a good game. It just was not right for me, which was called Creak or Creaking, something like that, where it's like a puzzle game that's spoopy, but there were too many like timed things for me. It freaked me out. I don't like timed reaction stuff. It makes me freak out. Like I can play a puzzle game no problem. You put a timer on it, I cannot. But it is kind of a spoopy one. What else? I'll need to like go look at my games to jog my memory about what I've played, because there's probably something that's like perfect that I'm just not thinking of. Oh, Spotify crashed. That's new and different. You want to not do that, bud? Yeah, I know encoding overload. It's because it's trying to open another program. It's okay. You're fine. Stop being dramatic. Okay, making sure that OBS wasn't completely frozen. Spotify is kind of like not really feeling starting back up, so it's going to take a little bit, I think. It's like fine if that's what you want to do. Not much I can do about it, so. There we go. Oh my god, the fridge just made a weird noise. And I thought I was going to die for half a second. Can you tell that I have anxiety? Just like in general. Can you like play the music now? Please? Here we go. Don't crash again, pretty please. Ooh, I do like Soma. I would watch you play that for surezies. Soma is fun. Mildew Children, I don't know that. Yeah, totally fair, Sleepy. I just like me as a person. I don't want to give, you know. It's like when you make, I'm sure Sleepy will get this. It's like when you make a playlist. Or like, yes, you can shove anything on and then trim it. But you could also just be really specific about what you put on from the first place. Oh yeah, I love BioShock. It is one of my regulars to watch. I do not play it because, again, timed reactions make me scared. BioShock actually would be a good one for October too. It is spoopy. Apparently we're just going to spend like an hour on banana texture, and I'm not going to do anything else, which is fine. This just was not what I was expecting to do, but it's vibing. That seems like a little much for a 12-year-old. Honestly. Is that why you have anxiety, Sleepy? I did see your message, Wib. I'm excited to see. I saw that you sent me something. But if I open Discord right now, I think my laptop will explode. So. Yeah, I do like the details. And I do enjoy a texture, it must be said. Fair. You know what? I was definitely like not a horror movie kid. My parents made me watch Sweeney Todd, like an actual stage performance, because the movie with Johnny Depp wasn't out yet. Because again, I'm old. They had me watch that when I was 8, and I legitimately think that that's part of the reason why I'm so specific about meat textures. Because I still remember the scene where the guy pulls a fingernail out of his mouth after eating a meat pie. I think that's part of why I'm so fucked up, like legitimately. I had nightmares for months. Fair. Oh yeah, Last Campfire for sure. Everybody who knows me has to play Last Campfire. And if you don't own Last Campfire, add me on Steam. And the next time it goes on sale, I'll buy it for you. Because I buy it for, like, everybody. Because it's legitimately the best game ever. Like, take a death allegory and make it wholesome. Discord, are you shitting yourself now too? Buddy, you good? Well, my entire laptop is just gonna explode, I guess. There we go, there's that. You good? Okay. I love that game so much. It's so nice. It's a nice little puzzle game. And it's very wholesome. That's also fair. That is part of the reason why I like it, is because, like, at a time in my life when I was, like, not doing so hot, it was like, yeah, not everything you do will fix everything, but what you do matters, kind of a thing. And I did cry about it a lot. Because there's little people that you, like, touch to get into their puzzles to help them, basically, without getting, like, too spoilery. And one of them you reach doesn't want to be fixed, basically. And the, like, over voice says not all problems are meant to be fixed and not everybody wants help. And that made me sob for, like, 30, 45 minutes. Yeah, it goes really cheap when it goes on sale. It is absolutely worth the price. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you need it, and sometimes that would make everything worse, so I totally get it. It is one of those ones that, like, go in knowing that it's a death allegory for sure. I feel like, because if you aren't prepped for that, I think that it can kind of hit you in the face in a bad way. So I do warn people about that. But it is a very good game, and again, often very cheap. Because, like, I bought it full price when I bought it, and I've purchased it twice. For myself. I have it on 2 different devices, and then I also played it on my iPad. So I've played through the game completely, like maybe 6 times. Can you tell that I like the game? And then I've purchased it for other people, like, a lot. But even at full price, I think that there's more content in the game. Like, if they had charged me more for that, I still would have been happy to pay that much because it's that good. Which is something that I find with indie games a lot, is that they're way less expensive, but they have way better content, you know? Limbo. Oh, Before Your Eyes sounds familiar. Maybe I got that in one of my, like, bundles. Because often if I'm buying an indie game that I've heard about and they're like, oh, do you want this bundle with, like, 6 other games you haven't heard of? It's, like, $4 more expensive. I'm like, you know what? Sure. Why not? And sometimes I play them and like them a lot. And sometimes I don't. Ooh, another one might be What Remains of Edith Finch. If you haven't done that one, Sleepy. It's a pretty weird one though. Like, it's weird. Yeah. Yeah. It's strange, but I enjoyed it. And, like, I feel like, especially for a stream game, that one, like, there is a lot of trigger warnings that you need to be aware of, but it is really one that you can dunk on in a really fun way in chat, because there's a lot of weird shit, and you're just like, why are these people living this way? Or not living this way, as you might figure out if you play the game. You know? So I feel like that's probably a fun one. Ooh, which one are you confusing it with, Shawnee? Because I know there were a couple. They're just called, like, walking simulators or something like that. But there were a few that came out together like that. Ooh, I don't know that one. What's that one like? Is it a mystery? It sounds like a mystery. See, I've heard not great things about Dear Esther, actually. I'm pretty sure that's the one that I really disliked. And a couple other people also really disliked it. Do I remember exactly why they disliked it? No, I just have a vague recollection. That does sound like I would enjoy it, Shawnee. I will have to think about that one. Fair. Yeah, I don't fully remember. I just remember thinking that it was like trivializing mental health issues, I think was the reason. Maybe. I'm trying to remember, but it's been a while. Yeah, it may be that because of how involved I is in the game industry, he feels like maybe people shouldn't make that narrative kind of a thing, like they hadn't done it very well kind of a thing. But again, I don't fully remember, and I don't want to put words in I's mouth. Hey, Dizzy. Yeah, we're specifically talking about Dear Esther right now. I started by talking about What Remains of Edith Finch is what set us off on this little tangent. Oh, you guys can hear me pop my knuckles. Sorry. You couldn't hear that when I had the headset on. Sorry if that grosses you out. I love how I put the color of the month on my palette, and I don't know that I'm even going to touch it today. That's fair. I mean, opening the plastic case that is my bones, I guess. Yeah, I'm definitely a joint popper. It drives my dad nuts. He hates that sound. He throws a hissy fit anytime I do it. But, like, sorry, it's free stimming. I say sorry. I'm not sorry. But you know what I mean. Okay. I think we're on a good way to getting this to some place that we need it to be. I mean, that could be my plans later. It's legal here. You don't know. I like how I got that paint to work in a completely different section. I was like, no, we're coming back to this, actually. I do think that the banana slug in the banana peel looks a little stiff. But that's because I needed to make it the shape of a banana. Which is, in fact, stiffer than a slug is. You know? You know? This is like the darkest part, so I should just use some of this there, and then I can go over it in brown. Later, Thymie. I'm probably going to end soon, because I would like to go eat a little bit. I like got up late enough that I ate breakfast. Like I finished my breakfast right before I started streaming, so I could stand a little snacky snack before dinner. I've been like sleeping in a lot lately, and I need to like get back on track for my sleep schedule, I think. I love that blib. Can somebody add that as a quote, actually? I think I have it so that only mods can do it. If not, I can do it in a second, but I think that should be a quote. Oh, maybe I did have it so everybody could do it, because I think Al added one. Thank you, Johnny. I had completely forgotten that I said that, but it does sound like something I would say. Sometimes the, like, word search doesn't really work very well. Yeah. Owl added that one, I remember. I do think that the word search works better on some quote systems than other ones, and I think the Streamlabs one is kind of like, honestly, a little bit shit, but it's easier than adding another bot to the mix, you know? Streamlabs is definitely not the best bot. Perfect. Thank you, Sleepy. It's going to have the date twice, I think, which is going to be even better because it's going to have the original date and then it's going to have, like, the current date. Honestly, though, I will say me actually adding the quotes thing was like a big step forward in my mental brain, you know? Mental brain. Yeah, sure, that's a word. Because like when I first started streaming, I refused to do that because I was like, I don't want people to take me out of context and I have control issues. And now I'm like, actually, you know what? Fuck it. So that was like a sign of growth, you know? Mm-hmm. Which I think is good for me at this point. But I do think that it's easier for me to do that now that I know what my stream community is like, you know, versus when you're first starting, you really don't know what vibe you're going to end up with. Like, quite yet. So I do think that that makes it a bit of a difference. Okay, I think that we have worked on a banana peel a lot today. I think we will probably work on a banana peel more next time. Yeah, that's fair, Sleepy. Streamlabs does have like a cloud service, which is useful because when my OBS completely shits itself, everything's over someplace else, you know. Yeah, I think part of the big thing... I will take the sippy, thank you.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Thank you. I do think part of the thing with ending up in a space... Yeah, Sleepy, I feel you on that one. Part of the way you end up in a space where you feel safe enough to do that is by being very specific about your boundaries and being vocal about that in your stream. Which can be really difficult for people to do. I will do stretchy, thank you. It can be difficult for like anybody to do in any space and not just in like your own space, but at the end of the day, you're the person setting the tone for your stream. And so you are in charge of upholding your own boundaries and saying what is appropriate and what is not. And also, especially with the quote system, at the end of the day, I can go in and delete something if I don't want it there. So I do have the control overall, you know? But if you set a space where your rules and your boundaries are well established, you don't need to worry as much about somebody doing something that makes you that intensely uncomfortable. You know? Which, like, so if you do the pre-work of the little scary saying, oh, please don't do that in my stream, then you don't have to do the big ones later on. For the most part, like, that obviously isn't a guarantee for everybody, but I've found that that works out well for me. And I am a smaller stream, so that's easier for me to do. But I do think, like, being vocal about your own stuff instead of expecting, like, your mods to do that for you is also really big. Because it feels different coming from the streamer than it does coming from a mod. And I've been on this website for a very long time. I've been modding on this website for like 10 years. And there are a lot of spaces that I've been a mod in or I've hung out in where streamers will task their mods with taking people on in chat if they do something inappropriate, which is part of a mod's job. But also, as the streamer, like, it's your boundaries. And yes, your mods can help reinforce that, but you're the one who needs to lay them in the first place. You know? And I think some people forget that, and some people just don't like doing that because establishing boundaries is scary, and I will fully admit that I had to work on that for a really long time to be able to do that. But I do think that, like, going into it saying, this is my space, and I get to make the rules will help a lot. So if somebody does something that makes you uncomfortable, you can just go, can we not do that here? Actually, that makes me uncomfortable. And for the most part, people are like, oh yeah, sorry about it. I didn't mean it that way. Kind of a thing. And if somebody throws a hissy fit about it, they've just proven that they don't deserve to be in your space. So you boot them. So either people will understand, and some people will want more of a discussion about why that is, and you can decide if that's something that you want to give them or not. And I tend to, like, explain things pretty thoroughly because, like, I'm autistic. So I don't always understand stuff, and I don't always like following rules if I don't understand why I'm doing them. But yeah. Yeah, and I know that I'm still working on that, to be clear. It's easier in, like, streaming because this is my space. I'm in charge here. So I get to say what happens, you know? And that doesn't always work great in the personal areas of my life, but I'm working on it. So, and I definitely tend to attract similar people who have had those same boundary issues. Yes, absolutely, Shawnee. The bop is good. Yeah, exactly. So there's some things, like, if somebody knows me really well, they will understand where the line is better. And if somebody's new, they just don't know that for the most part. A lot of people aren't acting in bad faith. They just really don't know where the line is. Especially with, I think that a big problem is the kind of, like, teasing meanness that has become really normal on a lot of internet spaces. That people don't understand you can't just treat strangers like that because they don't know that you're joking. You just come off as kind of a cunt. And I think establishing that that's not appropriate in stream is definitely something that I've done with a lot of new people that have come in. Because especially on art streams, one of the things people like to do is come in and go, oh, wow, this person doesn't know what they're doing. Or, oh, wow, look at this AI art, kind of a thing. And they're like, it was just a joke. And I'm like, okay, well, it's an inappropriate joke, especially for a first-time chat. And generally speaking, those people have left and never come back. Like, I didn't have to ban them or anything. I just had to say, hey, that's not appropriate behavior here. And they left. So. Right, Sleepy? It really is a problem on, like, the internet as it stands right now. Especially with younger people. Like, I feel like a lot of younger people haven't had the experience to understand that there's some background that you need to have to make that work. Yeah, exactly, Shawnee. And, like, for the most part, like, all of my friends are fine if I said, I would rather we not tease about this or whatever. Like, they would go, oh, yeah, sure, sorry, and then it wouldn't come up again, you know? So I think, but if you don't tell somebody that, they don't know that. They don't know that they've crossed a boundary. So you also need to realize that giving that person that information is you saying, this upsets me and I want you to stay in my life, but if you do things that upset me, I can't deal with that. So I'm telling you the information so that we can both adjust, so that we can still be in each other's lives. So if somebody is establishing a boundary with you, that's them saying, I care about you and I want you to be here, but I want us both to be happy, you know? So I think recentering that in your brain on both sides of that is really important. Yeah, absolutely, Sleepy. And one of the things that I do, especially when I'm doing like slightly mean tease, which I do in Sleepy's channel a fair amount, is do a cap at the end, which is old school Twitch for this is tongue in cheek, or you put in parentheses at the end, 100% joking kind of a situation. A lot of times if I'm like testing a limit with somebody where I'm making a joke that I haven't made before, I will send the joke and then put in parentheses, this is me joking. If this is uncomfortable, just tell me and I will back off, kind of a thing. You probably needed the sleep BP. Let's see, I ranted about, we had like a very intense discussion about what counts as art around AI, specifically generative AI. I painted part of a banana, mostly the peel. We talked about some spoopy games. Yeah, the tongue out emoji. I do also use LOL like punctuation. That's like my red flag millennial trait. I do find that the problem with tone tags is because they're abbreviated, not everybody knows the abbreviations. So it can sometimes come across as like more of an inside thing instead of being straightforward, informative, like people want it to be. Which is why I will usually do parentheses and spell out what I'm trying to say. So like joking or whatever, you know. Joking, affectionate is one I use a lot, or derogatory if I'm talking about capitalism or something, you know. Yeah. So like POS is definitely one that stands for a lot of different things. So point of sales, for instance, which also is piece of shit. Those things are the same. You know. And it is a thing with neurodivergent people a lot. Yeah, I did change it to say that, BP. I thought it was funny. A lot of neurodivergent people have problems with abbreviations because our memory recall isn't always great. And that's like a lot of information you need to remember, like all the time. I cannot tell you how many times somebody has said an abbreviation to me, like I should know what it means, and I immediately Googled it. It's a lot. Like if that was the weight of whether I was going to heaven or hell,
Yes, girl.
I'd be gone. I'm actually gonna end soon, BP, which will involve me going piss, so we can refund those points because it will indeed happen. Because we're gonna raid out in a second here because I would like to go have a little snacky. Yeah, me too, Blib. Shaking your hand. You often do, BP. I just want to make sure that you get the points refunded when it doesn't work out. Again, another neurodivergent thing. I have a very specific concept of justice. I'm technically undiagnosed on both, Blib, but like the more I learn, the more it fits. So yeah. All right. I do know that Goose is live. But I will also say that Linda is streaming in about a half hour, and I will probably hang out there too. So I would highly suggest going and following the Rainbow Sheep, which I'm pretty sure everybody talking in chat right now is a meeper, you know? We like our meeps. Let me see who else is live, just in case there's somebody else I really want to visit. No, I think Goose is a good choice. Goose is also playing some Harvest Moon, so Story of Seasons. That's a specific one. Okay, let me switch over to the ending screen. Oh yeah, safe travels to both of you. And Tomato, I'm gonna apologize preemptively to you for saying hot pot earlier in the stream to Sleepy. Sorry. Oh, you didn't BP. That's great. Well, I mean, not great that it's a stray cat, but great that you got to see a cat. That's always nice. Let me see here. What all do I need to do? Thank you guys for hanging out. It was nice. I do enjoy when we like have those discussions where I get up on my little soapbox and everybody's like, heck yeah. Because it's nice. It's definitely a thing that retrains my brain because I'm very used to an environment where any difference of opinion is seen as an attack. And so it will like get really nasty really fast. So it's really nice to be in a space where I can express an opinion and explain where I'm coming from and hear other people's opinions. And we aren't actually arguing. We're just literally having a discussion. And that is definitely rewiring my brain over time. And Cap has been big about that too. We've discussed it. So I appreciate that. And I hope that that's good for you guys too. Yeah, I'm glad. I try to make it a comfy space, but like only comfy for the people who deserve it. You know what I mean? So like it's a tolerating space, but not a quote unquote tolerant space. You know what I mean? There was not this time, BP. I'm going to do it on either Wednesday or Friday. Because Stars got me the little Celeste Animal Crossing kit. And she couldn't be here now because it's really late for her. So I'm thinking I'll do it on one of my morning streams so that she can see since she's the one who got it for me. And we kind of got me going on a tangent. So I filled a lot of space by rambling today. And yeah, you should hang out with Stars sometime. She didn't stream today, but she will probably stream on Thursday. Her days are Monday, Thursday. And I highly suggest hanging out there. She's one of my besties. Let me actually do the things that I need to do to start a raid. That would be smart in general. Thank you, Shawnee. Shawnee is putting the raid commands in chat. The first one has emoji that you can use anywhere on Twitch, no matter your subscription status. The second one has an emote that you can use if you're subscribed to my channel, so please copy and paste the one that is relevant to you. We're going to go visit Goose, who I raid fairly often. We like Goose. Goose also has kind of the same scattered ADHD energy that many of us do as well. And is a nice chill place, very friendly to lurkers and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I feel that, BP. Legos are so expensive. I wish I had the money. I would love to get some of the bouquet ones because I think those are so cute. It's such a cool idea. But again, there's monies, and I don't have a lot of that at the moment. Let me actually start the raid is the next deal, yo. I need to remember to edit my settings before next stream. I did write that on the list. Okay. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for, having some wild discussions with me. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. Remember that you're loved because I love you. And if you can't take care of or be kind to yourself or yourself, please do so for me because I think you're awesome and deserve nice things, including from yourself, even on the days when it's really hard. So let's work on being kinder to ourselves and each other and rewiring our brains to be better to ourselves. And we can meet up back here next time, which will be Wednesday, and talk about our victories or get a top up or, just chill and hang out. Whatever you need to make your day feel better. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Wednesday morning, my time. It would be afternoon for basically any other time zone. But 12:30 Pacific on Wednesday. And I'll see you all then. Okay? Okay, bye.